here comes the fun bit where we get to heat it. In with my heat gun now, and also my wooden stick. Now I use a wooden stick just to help control the shrink plastic, and I always start heating on the side I've coloured. This is a good habit to get into, because if you've got ink which is very wet on here, you want to try and dry that off as much as you can before it starts to shrink down and contort, because as you'll see, it starts to stick to itself. So we're going to start heating up just the whole area now. Now I'll bring my stick in as soon as it begins to move, just to stop it from whizzing across the work surface. So you can see it's starting to move now. And the shrink plastic will go towards the heat of the heat gun. So you can see it goes towards. So anytime you feel it's coming out of control, just move the heat gun. You'll notice that you've got little dots here, little air bubbles. You always want to turn your shrink plastic over and heat both sides. That way it's going to go all nice and flat for you. Once I've done that, as you'll see about me saying that the plastic wants to go towards the heat, the edges are curling up here. So simply turn it back over, keep the heat going, and you'll see it then go nice and flat for you. If you want it perfectly flat, medium acrylic block just over the top and allow that to cool down. Remove it and leave it where it is until it is nice and cool. Once it's in that state, if you want to, you can add glitter glue to it as well. And I've got crystal glitter glue here. This is a clear glue and it's got glitter particles in it. And it then brings it to life. As you can see, it's all nice and coloured, but it's quite flat looking at the moment. You can see how you've got your different tones and variations of the colour here. But just add in a very small touch of glitter glue. It does help to bring this to life, but this is the most difficult part, because you do not want to add too much. So it's just a little dot and then pull it out. If at any time you feel that you've added too much, just take a clean finger, pop it on and lift it away. Don't go smearing it, because then it's going to go everywhere where you don't want it. So say little dot and pull. And this really does bring your little shrink plastic pieces to life. So I'm just going to finish this off just onto the petals here. Don't want to overdo it, and perhaps on the leaf down here, just to tie it all in. And there's our little shrink plastic tile. Here on the left side of the card, there's some little shrunken tiles that have been coloured using Stardust pens. Here the dragonfly has been stamped onto translucent shrink plastic, coloured using zig brushable pens and glossy accents over the top to give the wings a 3D look. Here's a frosted shrink plastic tile. The image is from the Funky Flower stamp sheet and has been coloured using zig brushable pens. These flowers are also from the Funky Flower stamp sheet by Aspects of Design. Frosted shrink plastic again. It's been coloured using Coloursoft pencils, and some white StazOn stamping was added around the outside before it was shrunk down. This is the third image off of that same Funky Flower stamp sheet. Daisies have been coloured on the frosted side of the shrink plastic using Coloursoft pencils, and this time the plastic was torn to create a jagged edge. Penny black cluster flowers this time onto that frosted side of the shrink plastic using polycolour pencils before shrinking. This is a very large magenta stamp which has been coloured using Coloursoft pencils onto the frosted side of the shrink plastic and then shrunk down. That frosted shrink plastic has been used yet again with penny black flowers stamped centrally using black brilliants and coloured using Coloursoft pencils. That large daisy magenta stamp again in pretty shades of lilac and green, stamped onto the frosted side of the shrink plastic, coloured using colour soft pencils and blending solution, and then shrunk.